Good morning to everyone. Today we will speak about the UREHERIT European project, which addressed the evaluation, protection and reconstruction of Ukrainians' urban and architectural heritage during and after the war, considering it a strategic resource for a sustainable cultural, social, environmental and economic recovery. The aim is to preserve and regenerate places and historical and identity value, keeping collective memory alive and strengthening national and local identity through the rebuilding process. Through the work of interdisciplinary Ukrainian and European teams, including heritage specialists, architects, urban planners, engineers, local authorities, and local communities, the project promotes the exchange of knowledge through workshops, seminars, research activities and public events, contributing to the development of a new democratic and sustainable Ukraine. The CNAPPC, National Council of Architects, Planners, Landscapers and Conservationists of Italy is a partner in the project and represents the Italian institutional body that provides guidance, interpretation and opinions on professional regulation while promoting the quality of architecture and design. The Italian professional system is based on 105 provincial orders, which foster a culture of planning and design within public administration and society. Within the project, Italian National Council acts as the leading partners for activities in the thematic area dedicated to assessment and mapping of heritage damage, and also participates in other planned action. And the Italian National Council contribution is carried out through the involvement of Marčello Россi, project manager in the project, myself, Lilia Cannarella, senior expert in the project, and Diego Zoppi, the scientific expert for this part. The main expected output include recommendation on methodologies for assessing heritage value and war-related damage, and strategies to regenerate heritage in a sustainable, economically effective and culturally meaningful way, supported by academic specialists and professionals working in conservationist and territorial regeneration. Now I give the floor to Marcelo Rossi.
Okay, thank you, Lilia. Good morning to everyone. Yes, the contribution of Italy starts from the condition of Italy. We have, for sure, the largest heritage buildings all over the world, so maybe the 60% of all the heritage in it is just in Italy. So we have a really very large experience in affording the historical buildings. And we have maybe also the most important school of restoration of these buildings. On the other side, in Italy is a very fragile territory with a lot of earthquakes and other things. So joining these two things, the historical buildings and the fragile territory, in Italy was developed really a very important school of heritage conservation and assessment. On the other side, we have Protezione Civile, that is a body of the government that effort the earthquakes and all the the earthquakes. This Protezione Civile developed a specific skill in affording with really in 24 hours or even less the events of earthquakes or other things like that. So the aim of the Consiglio Nazionale in UREHERIT was to bring this experience of technicians, like methodology and also like specific techniques, constructing these lessons, let's say, that can help the Ukrainian community or also other communities in the methodology of immediate diagnostics, and then also the techniques that you can use in the restoring and preserving the buildings. We constructed 5 different lessons, and maybe now Diego Zoppi can show you the 5 lessons.
Thank you, Marcello and Lilia, and hello to everyone. Basically, this training course is divided in 5 blocks, just to isolate and to focus in the specific matters concerning the restoration of buildings injured by war or other problems. Actually, the module number 1 was managed by Roberto Rocchi. He is an architect, also he is Italian Air Force officer, and he is an expert in rescue operation in humanitarian crisis operation. And the module describes how technicians must work safety and in coordination with the other operators. He described what international protocols must be followed, what training they must undergo, and so on, just to preserve their life and to become more efficient than possible. The second module, managed by Sara Di Resta, professor at the Faculty of Architecture in Venice, concerning the contemporary architecture, modern heritage restoration between care and risk. It focuses the central role of knowledge, of course, and using the icons or other specific elements, propose some method for the restore or decide if to repair. It's proposed to know the modern materials, where modern is not the actual material, but it's modern when the build was realized, then also 100 years ago. And it explains the concept of reuse of the buildings. That's changing management, basically. And he described the ICOMOS, the Venice Charter, or other important cultural documents that are the element to decide in a modern way for the new use of the buildings. It's not easy. There are no specific and unique right way or wrong way. So he described some case studies just as a reference to approach this attitude for the reuse. The third block of this work described the diagnostic and restoration techniques for churches and monuments destroyed or injured by the war. From the Second World War today, we saw very different approaches for the restoration. So it's a blending of cultural reference, of memories, values, of historical testimonies, constructive abilities, values of use, artistic or creativity values. So all these issues help the professionals to decide when they have to repair, when they have to restore, when they think to restore to the reconstruction of the buildings, or when they are obliged for the new buildings. Also in this case, using the cases studies, we try to propose a guideline in the different way to approach in this situation. The following blocks, the number 4, managed by Nur Yumar, a visiting professor of the Faculty of Architecture of Venice, UAVU. It's speaking on the restoration and the reconstruction of the historic buildings. Before we're speaking of church monument, now of historical buildings in general. So it's very important, interesting, the diagnostic and the restoration techniques for the buildings from a more technical point of view. So they start explaining what is the historic surveys, how we can realize, or we can ask for or looking for the architectural documentation, and we have to study the materials, the construction, decay analysis, the difference between the craftsman or industrial techniques, the structural and environmental assessment, and also the new tools like the H-beam, that's scanning, photogrammetry, digital archives, AI-assisted damage analysis, and so on. Then the final, the 5th module, speaking on the techniques for the diagnostic and the restoration historical heritage damaged by war in reinforced concrete buildings. Here we have to discuss and to show what happened in the long history of the reinforced concrete, because concrete it's not started 100 years ago, but they started by the ancient Romans, and they accompanied long terms of the human histories. So it's important to understand how we need to diagnostic for the renovation with cases of study. This module is managed by Giovanni Cardinale. He is one of the most important engineers in Italy. He is owner of a big practice based in Florence and Milan. And after a short history of the theory evolution of the he started to discuss on the technical standards for the concrete reinforced, and then he described the pathologies and damages in a reinforced concrete structure, then a structural system of historical buildings, assessment and diagnostic, and finally he proposed some restoration techniques for the old buildings in a concrete structure. So in this way, we try to propose a wide point of view on the possible attitude and possible approach for the different buildings and different damage from for the war areas. That's all. Thank you so much for your attention, and good luck, good vision for our work.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you.